All right, pale pink ink. Here we go. All right, so we're on to the second person I wanted to tell you about from my 3 months in Jamaica. And this one might be a little trickier to explain because I, of course, did not write any of it in any order, but bear with me. Okay, so I guess to explain him, I matched with this guy on Tinder in Kingston. I'd been in Kingston for a couple weeks at this point, and it was becoming clear that, like, my life had a lot of restrictions because I lived way up in the hills with my cousin, and he had moved in a bunch of his kids with him, so he wasn't going to have time for me in the way that he intended to when he agreed to let me come live with him. And so my life down there kind of sucked, and I had nowhere to go and nothing to do, and Lee couldn't drive me places. So I matched with this guy on Tinder, and he is easily the most combative person I've ever met in my life. And he was asking me questions and then took something I said the wrong way, and it like turned into an immediate argument on WhatsApp. And then he was like, I'm a tour guide. Do you want to like go away for a few days and see some stuff on the island? And I was like, sure, if it gets me out of this house and away from this crazy family, yeah, I'll like trade in for a different brand of crazy for a few days. So he came to get me, and Lee met him ahead of time just so that like he would know who to look for if I went missing, and so that he could see that I do have people who I answer to here and who care about me. Anyway, so he picked me up and we traipsed all over Jamaica for a few days, and he was very clearly a scammer because he has to change his vehicle periodically, and he like collected money from people, and he was constantly on the phone having some sort of really animated argument with various people who he was demanding money from. Anyway, let's start writing. I don't think I ever got around to telling you about the trip I took with Shay. The good parts. So on my trip with Shay, we traveled through 7 different parishes. Certain parts were stupid, like waiting around in Mandeville for some dude who owes him money. I knew he was a sketch fest because on the very first day he was like, oh, so like Mandeville, where I had gone to school a few years earlier, I know a bunch of people in Mandeville who are part of that same program you were a part of. If you know people in that program, you are a scammer. Or at the very least, like an opportunist. You just are. And I'm like, oh, okay, so he's one of these guys. And sure enough, he knew all the same trash dudes that I knew when I was in the program, who just like try to take advantage of people. And I'm like, okay, so this guy is like trouble. Certain parts are stupid, like waiting around in Mandeville for some dude who owes him money. Sketchfest. Also, Mandeville is disgusting. I only feel that way because there were so many shitty people there in that program, and the program was shit. It's a city, whatever, Mandeville. Or that we went all the way to Ochi for the Ninja Man concert that didn't even happen because of the apocalyptic weather, which rendered our driving all that way and me paying for a place to stay that night completely useless. Oh, one other thing he did that was absurd. He was so rude to the waiter at the Italian restaurant. So after I know this is all like so all over the place, bear with me. At the end of our little road trip, we were back in Kingston, and we went to this Italian restaurant, and he was so mean to the waiter. He was so rude to the waiter at the Italian restaurant. He had the asshole-ish nerve to say to the waiter that this isn't how you make bruschetta, and he wasn't polite about it. It came across as unsolicited advice. He said, I cook a lot of Italian. Yeah, okay. Pretty sure you're just as Jamaican as the chef. Your complaint has nothing to do with the waiter anyway. It was repulsive. He claims that bruschetta is supposed to have olives in it. I've never once seen olives in bruschetta, and I've eaten in Little Italy. So I don't know. Maybe you put olives in bruschetta. I don't know. We're too far already. These 5-minute video things suck.